Lancaster-Lebanon Intermediate Unit 13, Instructional Media Services, provides CultureGrams, a service of ProQuest, to our district and members as part of the IMS. So I'm excited to be able to take a look at CultureGrams with you today. And notice that CultureGrams is a research database of primary source documents. So the exciting part about CultureGrams is that in order for any information to be posted to CultureGrams, you have to have lived in the country, been born in the country, or lived in the country at least 3 years. So what is CultureGrams? Well, notice that you have access to World Edition, to Kids Edition, and States Edition, and Provinces Edition. So the World Edition being more for secondary ed, and the Kids Edition being more for elementary. And out of this, you can search information that's on all these countries or states or provinces that has a photo gallery attached to it, narratives, video galleries, cultural elements about the country. So you can find some customs and gestures that are appropriate, as well as flags and the world time feature. And in addition, there's a citation generator that we'll take a look at. But again, the exciting part is that exclusivity to some of this content and the cultural focus that goes within that content. So being from a world languages background, that's something that we use CultureGrams quite a bit for students to do research on cultural components of the countries. You can find out anything online, but to really understand some cultural implications, to be able to hear from people from the country, to be able to see images from people in that country, that really shows the benefit of CultureGrams. So in order to log on to CultureGrams, you're going to go to your Media Center or library's homepage to find a link that says ProQuest or shows CultureGrams, because there's a specific link that activates your accounts that you do not have to log into. If you are at home and you want to access CultureGrams, you go to online.culturegrams.com and you would enter your home access information. In order to get your home access information, you will need to talk with one of your librarians to find out what that home access is so that you have that information. So when you first come to CultureGrams, you notice the World Edition, the Kids Edition, States, and Provinces. So I'm going to click on World Edition so that you can see kind of what it looks like. So to start out, you notice that at the very top, photos and videos and slideshows and interviews. Notice that we can see countries here. Notice we have a drop down over here to go by regions and countries as well. So if I click on South America, all of South America will open up. And this time I can click directly on the country. At this point I could view a regional introduction about South America or view the map as a PDF. But in this case, I'm going to just click on Venezuela. This is the exciting thing that I want you to see. So notice all of this primary source information. So starting off, you notice that it gives a map and it gives you some interesting facts about Venezuela. In the middle, it talks about the flag, the country and development data that has hyperlinks to it, the infographic average person that you can enlarge and print, actually hearing the official name. So if you click on the link, it's going to open up as a file that you can hear.
Venezuela.
So you can hear the correct pronunciation, as well as if you want to hear the national anthem from that country. In addition, you see there's a general citation feature that you can click on to get MLA citation for this as a reference for students who might be using this reference in any type of reports or projects that they may be doing. Notice on the left-hand side, we have so much more information that we can pull, from the background to the people to the customs. This is a really important feature. This is not easy to find online particularly, but it's so great that it's within CultureGrams that we can find it. So we can see what are the common greetings, and it'll give some expressions, some text, but notice that you also have this listen feature. When you activate the listen feature,
Greetings.
it's going to go
Men
through the
greet
whole
close
piece.
friends with an abrazo, a full embrace while patting each other on the back.
so that it has some accessibility built in for us. Here we can look at gestures particularly and understand what some gestures might be, some possible visiting, some possible eating styles and habits. Notice there's an interview in this case tied to it that we can listen directly or read the full interview here. Sometimes, some will be video format and sometimes it'll be in format like this, so you can get a more cultural perspective directly from that country. Notice that on the left we can continue by going through lifestyles, families, housing, dating, marriage. Students are always curious about what school's like in another country and what the life overall is like and what kind of customs do the country celebrate, or do the citizens of the country celebrate. Notice some society and some contact information, general contact information as well. I'm going to go back so that you can see on the right-hand side. So in this case, there is a kids edition to this, and just to show you the differences, this is more the elementary version or the younger version. It's the same content, but it's chunked up differently, more easily for students, younger students' minds to be able to understand and see. So you have less text, you have colorful graphics, as opposed to the more secondary ed version that we would have access to. But notice that you can access the full report here. They can email it to themselves. But here is also a neat feature with, this is where the slideshows are, photo galleries, interviews, if you want to see who are the famous people of Venezuela and why were they famous. And you can read information like that and get a citation from that. Notice I'll pull up the photo gallery so that you can see. Again, these are legitimate photos that were either posted by somebody who's lived in this country for at least 3 years or was born in this country. So we can look at any one of these photos to see what they are. If I click on the photo, it's going to give me some documentation, a citation, as well as ability to download that photo, or just simply go to the next one. I remember actually riding a bus like that in Venezuela when I lived there for a few years. So notice that there's many different photos we can go through as a slideshow if we want to go through a slideshow of it as well. I like the recipes section. That's a lot of fun for students to be able to use. So oftentimes students are doing research and reports, and then they might want to make a dish. So if they want to find out some authentic recipes from that country or that area that they're researching, you can see the arepas that are listed here, arroz con bananas, and other things that are listed as recipes with the full ingredients and how to make those ingredients, all accessible for them to be able to use. In addition, there are teaching activities and curriculum standards that you can use, and these are PDF files. So you'd see a PDF file that would open up so that it can give you some inclination of what you would be able to do with this. So if I scroll through here, it's going to give all kinds of information, not just on Venezuela there particularly, but here all kinds of different activities that can be done from grades 6 to 8, grades 9 to 12. If you want the elementary ones, you go to the kids edition to be able to get to those younger grade levels. This is a really neat way to be able to understand how to teach some of these components and how to use some of these components in our classrooms today. So if I want to go back out of this, I could search another country here by just going this way. At the very top, I can go through the home world edition. If I want to get to the states edition, click on a state, and then I have the state facts as well. So just like for the worlds to the states. Notice this, if I scroll to the very bottom, there's also some training resources. If I open up those training resources, this is a ProQuest guide that comes with a lot of other materials to be able to use. Here's a training video that's included, some basics about the snapshots and the data that's in there, and then some more video training and how to spread the word about using CultureGrams in the classroom. So this great service is being provided by the Lancaster-Lebanon Intermediate Unit 13 Instructional Media Services to align with district's 21st century needs and environments, truly helping to maximize student learning in today's classrooms. If you have any additional questions about how to use CultureGrams, please feel free to contact ims@iu13.org or on Twitter @iu13ims.